Hey, Westside. It's Tony here for another Wednesday evening Bible study. Hope that everyone is doing well. Uh, Halfway through another week. We're almost done with the month of January. It is hard to believe how quickly time flies by. A couple of things that wanted to let you guys know, some exciting things that have been in the works for a long time that we're finally getting around to figuring them out and getting them running. That starting this Sunday, hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, starting this Sunday, we will begin live streaming our Sunday services. They will be live on the church's Facebook channel. In order to watch that, it will not be recorded. It will be actually, you'll be watching along live with us with what's taking place at the church on Sunday mornings. So we're very excited about that. The entire service will be streamed live. So if you would like to be a part of that, all you have to do is go to the Westside Christian Church Facebook page, like the page, and it will be streaming live Sunday morning, 10 a.m. on the church's Facebook page. Barring any unforeseen technical difficulties, that should be launching this coming Sunday. So we're very excited about that. Excited to finally be able to bring the Sunday services to all of you that have not been coming on Sundays because of everything going on with COVID. I know that for some of you, you're saying, man, we've been trying to do this for 10 months, and hey, better late than never, I will say. I know that it's taken us a while to get to this point, but we're excited about that starting this coming Sunday. So be on the lookout for that. If you need help, technical help with that, you can give me a call, reach out to me or to David Hayes, and be happy to help you with anything when it comes to Facebook. Thad could also help with that as well. So reach out to someone if you need help figuring out how to navigate the church's Facebook page and get to where you can watch the service live online. This past Sunday, we did part 2 of this encounter that Jesus has with a person and really a group of people and really everyone on a road on the way to Jerusalem. That Jesus is on the road and someone in the crowd asks him, what's it got to take to get into heaven with everything that you're talking about, Jesus? Is anybody going to get in? And so we spent the first half of this teaching looking at that question and looking at Jesus's arrogant answer that he gives. This past week, we looked at the answer to that question and the incredible hope that comes in that question and why Jesus's answer doesn't seem as arrogant or narrow-minded in reality as it might seem initially. We started off talking about the 80s, and I talked about some of my favorite things from the 80s, some of my favorite movies, some of my favorite cultural things that were taking place. So I thought it would be fun with our study tonight, whether you're by yourself or you're with a group of people. Take a minute, and what is one thing that you wish that you could bring back from the 80s, if you're old enough to remember the 80s? What's one thing that you wish that you could bring back from the 80s into our culture, our world today? Take a minute, either think about that on your own or discuss it with your group. I also talked about a show on Netflix that I watched 3 seasons over the course of about a week. Thought it'd be fun. Let's take a minute, think about, discuss, jot down what is a show or many shows that have gotten you through quarantine. Has absolutely nothing to do with anything that we're talking about. Just thought it'd be fun to kind of put that out there. What's a wonderful, wonderful show that you wish you could tell people, you got to watch this, help pass the time in quarantine? So Jesus answers the question to the guy's question about who's going to get into heaven. And Jesus answers it by saying it's a narrow door. The door is narrow, and it seems like an arrogant answer. It seems like a very narrow-minded thought and view. This past Sunday, we talked about why Jesus is so narrow-minded. And one of the first reasons that we talked about is because he knows that all of us are going to live forever. He knows that every person that he's talking to then, and every person that will hear that message through the rest of time, will live forever. We were created to live forever. That someday we will shed this earthly shell and we will enter into eternity. I had someone come up to me after church on Sunday and say that in 80 plus years of going to church, it's the first time they'd ever heard someone from a pulpit say that we will live forever. It's a choice of which side of the coin you're on that. So the reason Jesus is so narrow-minded is because he knows that we will live forever. Why do you think that is so hard for people to grasp? Why do you think that is so hard for people to accept? And why do you think that is so hard for people to understand? Jesus knows that we will live forever. He also knows that hell is very real. And he doesn't want any of us to go there. In fact, he loves us too much to let us go there. So if he knows that all of us will live forever, and he knows that hell is real, I mentioned on Sunday in the message that Jesus will talk more about hell than he will any other character or place in Scripture. He wants to make it clear this is real. This is a real thing. So I want to ask the same question that I just asked, but in relation to the fact that Jesus knows that hell is real. Why do you think that idea is so hard for people to grasp? Why do you think that idea is so hard for people to understand? And why do you think so many people have such a hard time accepting that hell is real? On Sunday, I made the comment that when it comes to Jesus, when he says, I want to be your only one, I'm the only way to heaven, I'm the only way to the Father, that you can have no other gods before me, that we look at that statement and we say that it's narrow-minded, we say that it's bigotry, we say that it's exclusive. And yet that's the only relationship where that's the case. In a marriage relationship, we say, I need to be your only one. There needs to be no one else. And we call that faithfulness. With Jesus, he says, here's the way that I want you to live your life. There are rules that I have for you that are designed to protect you and to provide for you, no matter the cost. And we call that narrow-minded. We call that arrogant. We call that exclusive. Yet it's not the case in any other relationship. As a parent with our kids, we have rules that are put in place to protect them and to provide for them. And we call it loving. We call it responsible. So why do you think when it comes to Jesus, things that don't apply in any other relationship, in fact, are the exact opposite in other relationships, we give Jesus a hard time for it? And we call him a bigot, narrow-minded, exclusive. Why do you think that is? It's no surprise that many people think that putting into action what God commands is a waste of time. Yet in reality, the laws, the commands that God has in place are designed to protect us, and they're designed to provide for us. I'd like to ask you to look at a few passages. And as you read each of the passages below, each of them a command from God, I would like for you to take a minute and either by yourself or in your group, contrast people's rationale to not obey the command with the benefits of protection and providence that can result when we do obey. So as you read each of these passages, each of these commands from God, I want you to compare and contrast people's rationale to not obey and the benefits of obeying. First passage is 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 7. The next passage is Galatians chapter 6, verse 9. Next, read Matthew chapter 5, verse 44. Now, 1 Corinthians 15, verse 58. And lastly, Colossians 3:13. That's all the time that we have for this evening. I hope that that was informative for you. I hope that you had some good thoughts and good discussions. Look forward to seeing you all this coming Sunday. And if you cannot join us in person, join us on our Facebook page to live stream the service. Have a great rest of your week.